they made the plays we did in the first time around, and credit them. They're a good defense. We said going into that game that it might be the best defense we play all year, and we'll still say that.
All right, we are getting ready for Steelers and Browns. Take two, Wolf, and the Steelers are back out here on the practice fields at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex, and we have our first practice report in what feels like a really long time as we're heading into this matchup.
Well, exactly. You got to shake the bye week blues out, and you come back and you got a whole bunch of guys coming back, and I'm excited because for certain, Morgan Burnett and LJ Fort, two guys that you really wanted to see come back. LJ after that great performance a couple weeks ago, and then of course with Morgan Burnett, it's time to start stacking some practices together and show the dependability that you need.
All right, and two new names on this list. Coach Tomlin only mentioned Morgan Burnett, LJ Fort, and Darius Hayward-Bay yesterday. Xavier Grimble was limited today with a concussion. Marquise Pouncey, your guy, getting a coach's day off. Marcus Gilbert did not practice today with a knee injury. Not sure if that was maybe a re-aggravation of a previous knee, but there's a name not on this list. Whose name is not on here that we normally see on Wednesdays?
Well, that would be Ben.
Very
right?
good.
Ben's day on Wednesday.
That's right. Ben was asked earlier today, whenever the media was meeting with him, hey, are you going to practice today since you didn't practice during the bye? Ben said he was going to keep it a secret. So he's not on that list. So that means he was out there in some capacity, right?
He was in some capacity. I'm not sure exactly what, but it was enough of a capacity that he was out there. But Marquise, nobody told Marquise because Marquise always wants to be out there with Ben. But he was out there, got his reps in, but Marquise was nowhere to be found that I could see.
All right, and Ben was also asked, a lot was made about the fact that he shed a lot of weight this offseason, heading into training camp and the preseason, how it is feeling going from the beginning of the season to right now, heading into the second half for the Steelers.
Yeah, I do. I feel better, especially my knees, less stress. I've had a couple knee surgeries, and for those not to have fluid on them or have to ice them after every day really is beneficial, especially playing at home with the kids.
And ironic enough, you were talking to number 7 just about this before I even told you what we were doing.
Well, it's funny because we're out on the practice field. We're just talking. How you doing? How's the body feeling? And it's like, me being 60, all the younger guys are like, how's the body feel? Because they know someday they're going to be there and they want to know what's it feel like. So we're comparing all those things. And we just got talking about the fact that he dropped that weight, how much that has relieved his knees of the pressure of this point in time. There's no fluid on his knees, he said. He said he feels a lot lighter. It feels more mobile. And you can see it in his movements. I mean, he's much more athletic and able to get done what he wants to get done. And even when he goes out of bounds there and takes a tumble, he does so with classic athletic stealth and quickness. See? But, that's all part of the fact is he's feeling great. And you can tell because his body is giving him the opportunity to be able to be elusive and get things done on the field that maybe he hasn't been able to do for a couple of years.
The other thing Ben said this morning, Wolf, is that they started getting out of the gates faster in the previous 2 games prior to the bye. That's also key heading into the second half of the stretch for the Steelers, right?
No question about it. You want to get out there and get that fast start. You want to come out of the gates like you're in the Kentucky Derby. Boom! Get moving. And then certainly if you do that, you set a tone and a pace. And a lot of times you can get a team on its heels. And once you get them on their heels, you just keep punching them.
Always good to do at home, too.
Oh, yes. And this is a good time to do it coming up against the Cleveland Browns.
All right, Wolf, thanks for joining me today. Really appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, Mike Prisuta is on hand with his perspective. Welcome back to Steelers Live, everyone. As always, on Wednesdays, Mike Prisuta is here in studio joining me with his perspective as we get ready for the Cleveland Browns. Mike.
Thanks, Missy. The bye weekend could not have gone any better for the Steelers. No one got hurt. They didn't lose a game, and they emerged as a first-place team thanks to the Ravens and Bengals succumbing in succession on Sunday. Try saying that 3 times fast. Succumbing in succession on Sunday. That was right after the Browns had done the same thing. And how was your weekend? For the Steelers, the bye weekend was nice, but it was not defining. Yes, they're percentage points ahead of the Bengals and Ravens in the AFC North. But as Mike Tomlin observed following the Steelers' last-second survival in Cincinnati on October the 14th, they're still, and I quote, the same team with the same warts. Justin Tucker inexplicably missing an extra point hasn't changed any of that. Neither has the Bengals getting ambushed at Arrowhead. The Steelers have started addressing those warts, or at least working around them, covering them up. And the two-game winning streak they carried into the bye suggests progress is being made. The physicality they've unleashed on offense and defense has been most encouraging. The big guys have been winning up front. Ben Roethlisberger has been staying upright. Antonio Brown has been staying patient. And the defense, that final drive in Cincinnati aside, is becoming more reliable. Those are all good things. But even if they prove to be sustainable, it's still hard to gauge what it'll take the rest of the way. No wonder Mike Tomlin is so maniacally focused on continuing to get better as opposed to continuing to maintain the top spot in the division that the Steelers now occupy. Forget where you are, Tomlin insisted this week. Forget what happens specifically as you step into a stadium. Obviously, the goal is to win. But as you step out of stadiums, you better make a commitment to be better in the next stadium you step in. That was the idea on September the 9th at Cleveland. It's still the idea in advance of the Cleveland rematch. Are you ready for some football? The Steelers, as we speak, are a team on the rise and positioned to generate some legitimate momentum coming out of the bye. But that can change faster than the time it takes for an extra point to drift wide right. It's good to get ahead in the division, but it'll be better if the Steelers don't get ahead of themselves. And that is this week's Prisuta's Perspective.
You know what I actually liked on Monday? It was the bonus day of practice. All the players were in the locker room afterwards. The media's in there, and everyone's asking, hey, you're in first place. You're excited. Dave DeCastro, a few other guys, didn't even know that they jumped up from third to first, like you said. And other guys were kind of like, well, we didn't do anything to earn it, but we'll take it, and now we have to go prove ourselves.
Yeah, it was. I found it, I guess fascinating would be the right word. I watched all three of those games. The Browns lose.
It was the perfect setup.
The Ravens lose, and then the Bengals lose. Hey, can this happen again next week? Maybe they just, sit it out the rest of the way and let everybody else lose. You can't do that. But I think they get that, they're in first place now, but it's a percentage points thing. And
sure.
It doesn't mean they'll be in first place next week.
And the tie worked in their favor for this, but could also hurt them down the road.
Yeah, they're going to have to earn it the rest of the way. They kind of got some help, but you're only going to get so much of that. Take care of business.
All right. Well, of course, it's Ben's day, so let's get his perspective of the Steelers' first half of the season.
Just getting better, not turning the ball over. I think that's been a negative for me in the first, I don't say half because we're not the half yet, but the first part of the season. I hate when we turn the ball over. Hate when we lose football games. But I think if you look at positives, I think we're getting better. Every week. I think the line has been no sacks the last two games. That's always a positive for me. I think James Conner is getting better, and that's always a positive for our team and for our run game. And he's getting better in the pass game. Plus, AB's making plays, so that makes everybody happy.
I know it wasn't that long ago, but if you do go back to that Week 1 game in Cleveland against the Browns, that was not the offense that anybody wanted to see in that first outing. And they have made those baby steps in the right direction, as Ben was saying, when they had time to reflect during the bye week.
I agree with all that, and you never want to have 6 turnovers as the Steelers had in Cleveland. But
No.
I'll tell you what, do you look at those any differently now, seeing the Browns turning everybody else over?
Yeah.
As Mike Tomlin pointed out this week, it wasn't a lightning strike.
No, it was not. Myles Garrett is the real deal.
This is what this defense does. You saw that diving interception a moment ago by Denzel Ward, the really talented rookie cornerback. Cleveland is going to try to take the ball away. The Browns defense is living and dying on turnovers. And the impression I've got talking to guys this week is the Steelers are much more aware of that now. You say before every game we want to limit turnovers, we want to protect the football. They were saying that stuff prior to the opener in September. I think it's much more of a priority now based on what happened to them the first time against the Browns and what the Browns have done to everyone else since. 4 turnovers for Tampa Sunday.
Yeah.
Cleveland still lost in overtime. That's why these games are so close. They keep turning people over, and the Browns are hanging around because of it.
All right. Should be a fun game Sunday, 1 p.m. at Heinz Field. Mike, thanks so much for your perspective. Time for a quick break. When we return, Labs joins us for Agree to Disagree. All right. right. Well, if you thought the Steelers were rejuvenated after their bye week, you have not seen Bob Labriola and Mike Prisuta just yet. They are back for this edition of Agree to Disagree, the show with the motto,
I'm right, he's wrong.
all right. Let's get through this and play nice a little bit, guys. All right, the first statement today, the cavalry isn't coming to save the day. Prisuta, you're first.
Well, it always does in the John Wayne movie, so I'm going to disagree. But I think our more specific focus here is not the John Wayne cavalry, but reinforcements for the Steelers. I think Le'Veon Bell's going to get here eventually, and I think he's going to be in all-pro shape eventually. Might not be till December, but call me a cockeyed optimist. I think they're going to have Le'Veon Bell at their disposal at some point this year, and I'm actually fascinated to see how that might play out with James Conner having played as well as he has so far, and with what we know Bell can do when he is involved and engaged and in shape. Might even be more than Le'Veon Bell. It's probably unlikely, Labs, that the Steelers trade for a quarterback such as, I don't know, Patrick Peterson, but I would certainly be on the phone investigating such possibilities because that guy is a game changer, and right about now the Steelers can use all of those that they can get.
All right, Labs, your take.
Well, not only are you wrong, but you're a wrong cockeyed optimist. And there's definitely
It's a little harsh.
no cavalry coming from the West because it doesn't matter what Patrick Peterson wants or what the Steelers might be interested in doing. Already the Cardinals team president Michael Bidwell and the coach Steve Wilks have said that they are not open for business as far as Patrick Peterson is concerned.
Everybody's got a price, Coach.
Another, yeah, I'm doing this. Another guy that has been linked in a possible trade to the Steelers is their undersized linebacker, Dion Buchanan. A guy like that is not a reality because he couldn't help you this year. By the time you taught him the defense, the playoffs would be over. And I'm not all that sure about Le'Veon Bell. I mean, I get it that it makes a lot of sense for him to show up, but there is nothing about this Le'Veon Bell situation that has made any sense to me at all. I think they're going to have to play with what they have.
Give me the ball, Pilgrim.
All right. Labs, I'm going to agree with you on Le'Veon Bell pursuit. I don't know what we're going to get from him if and when he does show up, but how many times this offseason did we hear Kevin Colbert say, we're not trading Martavis Bryant, and then they did. So Pursuit, I'll give you that point.
Good
So,
point
okay,
by
we're tied right now. All right, next statement. Win these next two, and it's a clear path to a division title. Labs, you go first.
Okay, I know that a lot of people might look at this statement and choose to focus on the upcoming schedule after these two games. But that's not how I'm going to approach it, and I agree with the statement, and this is why. I believe that if the Steelers come off their bye and play a good game against Cleveland at Heinz Field and beat the Browns, and the Browns are not the slappy bunch that they have been in the past. However, they still are the worst team in the AFC North, I'll give you that. And then if the Steelers can go to Baltimore and beat the Ravens, I think what the team will have showed in handling those two assignments, coming off the bye and winning a game you're supposed to win, and then going on the road and beating the toughest foe in your division at their place, and the Steelers haven't had a lot of success there recently. I think you exhibit the fact that you are the kind of team that can handle the rest of a schedule that looked a lot tougher at the beginning of the season than it does now going to Jacksonville and Oakland.
All right, what say you, Pursuta?
I disagree. I don't think a clear path exists anymore in today's NFL. Certainly not as I perceive this division and this Steelers team. I don't know that it's ever been more of a week-to-week deal. And Labs, I'll agree with you. If they win the next two, it would be significant. And at that point, they would be looking good. But it could all change again the next time they tee the ball up and kick it off. This is still a Steelers team that has to play in New Orleans. It's still a Steelers team that has to play in Jacksonville. Hey, at the start of the year, that looked like a problem. Now it looks like a layup. I wonder what it's actually going to look like when the Steelers play in Jacksonville. Got to go to Denver, got to go to Oakland. New England's coming here. There are too many variables. I agree with what Mike Tomlin said this week. The focus has got to be on just getting better every time you step out of a stadium so that you're better the next time you step in one, and then repeat as necessary. That's going to be necessary all the way to the end.
All right. Those are two
Even if the
statements.
cavalry comes over the hill.
All right.
Which I think it will.
All right, Prisuta, stop talking, because I was actually going to give you the win today. So just take that and yeah, I'm giving you the win.
Okay.
You are the winner today. Sorry, Labs. Best of luck next time.
And I wore a sport coat and everything. I thought
that is going to do it for Agree to Disagree and for Steelers Live.
Well, that's two thumbs and wins Agree to Disagree.
We will see you tomorrow coming up at 4 p.m.